Hello guys, welcome to Ashley Lancelot show. I don't know why it's freaking tilted. There we go. This is gonna be a 50 interesting things about me, or just about me in general. If you guys have more questions you want to ask me, put down in the comments below. Please subscribe and notification bell more videos. Support your disabled veteran, and thank you all guys for watching and supporting this me as well down the road as well. Let's get to it. One is that I am 28 years old, even though I look older than 30. That is because of a lot of stress. I am half white, half Korean. I have a famous kind of uncle cousin-ish, but we're related. He is a K-pop singer in the Big Bang. His name is Taeyong. He's actually my grandma's sister's side of the family tree, and he's about 1 year older. And surprisingly, we have the same birthday. That's the most surprising thing as well. Forrest, I'm more of a dog person than a cat person. I enjoy having, and I'm more of a turtle guy than a cat or dog. I actually had several turtles in my lifetime. My mom killed 9 of them, and 4 of them I took care of for a couple of years while I was living in LA. Before I joined the military, I had to give them away because I cannot have turtles in my dorm. And I was all the way in San Antonio, Texas, then Shepherd Air Force Base in Texas, then all the way to Dover Air Force. It took me 6 months to marry my wife. We dated for 6 months and I married her due to helping out with family troubles, but we've been married over 5 years now and together for 6 years. So it is very interesting as it is. I have probably been in less than 5 relationships in my whole life. I did wrestling since I was 6th grade all the way through sophomore in high school. I did football from 7th grade to freshman year of high school. And I hate sports. I hate it. Never liked it. And I don't like even watching it. Reason why I joined sports or play sports because to keep my dad happy and morale. Because my dad is a sports fanatic. He did football throughout his whole high school. Was in the newspaper in the San Francisco Chronicles in the somewhere in the 1980s. But yeah, I don't like sports. Hate it. Don't like it. I don't like to work out. Just don't like it. Because reason why it is that when I work out and wrestling, I usually use my anger a lot more to overcome the person and throw them around on the mat. So every time I work out, I get very angry. I get very pissed off. Blood pressure goes in. I used to have a 6-pack. I used to be very skinny. I was very skinny until the doctors at the Air Force Base started giving me a shitload of medication, and that just got me lost a lot of weight. Gained a lot of weight. So right now, I used to be 135 in high school, and I was in stable 170 throughout my Air Force career until that incident happened. Now I'm about 230 pounds. I'm trying to lose it, but it's going to take a while. But yeah, it is how it is. I love video games. My best video game system, I will say, is the Super Nintendo. As big as probably the first Nintendo gaming system I ever owned that my uncle gave me. But the Super Nintendo, it would be Super Mario RPG 7th The Legend Star. Or Super Nintendo is actually like a Final Fantasy and Mario cross between. That is one of my best system. The best game, it would be probably Final Fantasy 7 to this day, hands down. If someone say Final Fantasy 8, I will slap them very hard. Don't like 8. Too much romance. Oh my god, too much romance. The most romantic thing I ever done in high school was basically I was in junior year in high school. I was obsessed with this girl. Her name was Michelle Hung, and I used to fold origami stars and cranes and stuff. Put on these old cracker teddy bear plastic jars in it. I put that in, peel the sticker off. Me and my friend James took me to Michael's. I made her a necklace, a Lucky Charm necklace. Got the wrapper, got the Hello Kitty posters, colored it in, wrapped it all in red basket. Oh my god, I got turned down that day, but all the girls were jealous. I mean, every single girl in high school was so jealous because I spent about $150. That was a lot that time. But she was like a huge handmade gift. Till then, I rarely make handmade stuff ever again. I made some handmade stuff for Ashley, but a lot of times she likes to lose shit. Yeah. I dated now she's an actress and a singer in China and Hong Kong. That's a different story. Used to date her in high school. She was from Hong Kong with a British accent. I mean, Asian girl with a British accent. Oh my god, that is hot. Yeah, so I dated her. But other than that, I usually date a lot of Asians, and I dated one that was half Guatemalan and half white. That didn't go too well. A lot of Chinese. And it was more than 5 girls I dated. Five. Ashley is probably the first white girl I ever dated and married. Well, it was my first marriage, so it's weird. Korean girls, I will say, is the most craziest girl to date, especially if they're a Christian going. Any girl that goes, they say they're a Christian and they're devoted to God, are very crazy and very crazy in bed. that was my opinion. I used to be a youth pastor for several years until that incident. Now I am an atheist. I became an atheist a couple years ago. Probably from that incident started, like, screw it, because when I think about it is, I did a story about why me and my wife are atheists. My wife was atheist way before I met her. So, but a lot of family don't know about that because they're all gun ho Christian. Or I'm like, don't worry, I'll defend you, because I'll just probably tell them about history. I'm a huge advocate of history. I love history. I have several history books, several college history and high school history books. The older the history books you have, the more accurate they are. Because a lot of times, a newer history book that they print out, they pull out the most important thing that happened, or they twist the truth. Just letting you know, if you want to read a history book, the old documentary Black and White is good from the History Channel, and also the very old history books that will tell you what happened, what went down. I don't know why we're ashamed of our history and like change it. Japan wants to do it, change their history because of what happened during World War II. So yeah, it is complicated, but I think we should all learn from our history and move on from there. Because, without that, then how you learn from your stupid mistakes? Let's see here. I was born in San Francisco. I was the second biggest baby in San Francisco in 1989. I was 12.9 pounds. One person that beat me, it was actually a boy. It was 13 pounds. That was a big baby back then. And I'm a big man now, and I want to devour your soul. I played D&D since mid of middle school. Reason why I started playing D&D because of my dad. My dad has the second edition advanced D&D books. He had all his notes and everything else for it as well. I got all his book, read them, and started playing it. Until this day, my dad regrets that he got introduced me to D&D. Comic books, same thing. I love comic books. I buy a bulk every month. I used to tell him I buy it once a month, buy a big box of it, do a video of that on Sunday. what I have. I never had time to actually read the books for it, but I usually do read the PDF version of it free online on the phone. My dad also regrets it, and to this day, every time he told me what I want for Christmas or birthday, I tell him I want your D&D books, your comic books, and I want your Magic the Gathering cards. Because he has it, he never buys any. Then a lot of them are old. They're from the 60s, 70s, and a lot of them in the 80s and 90s as well. And some of them are worth money, and I know they're worth money because now I used to praise a lot of comic books and toys and trading cards. So my dad is like literally cleaning on his collectibles with his life. He knows that if he passed away, if he didn't sell it, I'm taking it. My brother can have the house or whatever. I want his damn collectibles. And I'm the only son that wants it. I have a brother. We're 14 years apart. He's half white, half Chinese, but he's still my loving brother. Yeah, it's weird seeing the huge transition from my generation 14 years later, his generation. He's like a text galore, and like move his tongue while he texts. It's weird. It is weird, and now these kids are very shy, especially around the opposite sex. But so on, so on. I used to date a guy once in my life. It was a very short, because I thought that it was very short because it was very weird, because I was conflicted because I couldn't get a girl for the longest time throughout my years in school. That's all I was thinking about, getting girls. I was like, well, I have to try date a guy out. And I found out that I'm not gay. I'm sorry, but yeah, I just found out like, nope, no, I'm not gay. I know I'm not gay. So those are a couple days. We kissed. I'm like, no, I don't feel anything. This is disgusted by me. Bye. But yeah, that was very interesting. I started working. I was 14 as a part time. I forged all my dad's signature from my high school years, especially the worker's permit. Uh, my dad knows about it. I told it because he finds out later on. And I used to, because back then you had this little binder, and if you're like get bad grades and stuff, they'll write down the homework down, and your parents supposed to sign the bottom for it. I signed that. I actually know how to forge my dad's signature perfectly. And my dad tried to basically change his calligraphy. The problem is I master his writing style. Where that's so my dad doesn't handwrite stuff anymore. Well, I'm 28, so I don't need to anymore. That was back when I was in school. I stopped probably mid in high school, but yeah, I was a very naughty child back then. Um, let's see here. I lost count how many. Might be 50 more or less. I'm gonna let this thing keep going. Tell you a little about myself. I used to work at On Hawaiian Barbecue. That was my first job. Worked there for 6 months. And no. My first job was the STAR program at Woodrow Wilson Elementary School. I was a part-time tutor from high school. I walked to my old elementary school and helped with homeworks and tutoring kids. Second job was On Hawaiian Barbecue. Third job, the longest I had actually worked in my high school years, was the Exploratorium in San Francisco. I worked like in the weekends, Friday weekends or holidays, stuff like that. It was one of the funnest jobs in my life. I got one of the girls I used to stalk at that job too. Oh my gosh, she's a fine ass, a nice leg. Yeah. She has a weird brother though too. She like to do like facials and stuff. I'm like, that was very weird, but moving on. And I worked at the Personality Hotels. I worked in several of the hotels in that company for a while. Then I worked at Morning Star. I tutor elementary kids. Then I worked at Greystone Hotel, the rival of the Personality Hotels in LA. Um, then then I joined the military. So I pretty much worked 14 to 27. That's about 13 years of my life I actually worked. So yeah, that was very interesting. The most I lost my virginity in 17 at the hotel. I was working as a concierge. Got reprimanded, and the funny thing was that my boss was my dad's best friend. He's like, "Oh, good job, lads! You finally pop. You're finally a man. I gotta write your ass up." I was a horny little 17-year-old, 17, 18-year-old, you know. I was horny. I was already graduated. I'm 17. And yeah, it's like I was horny. I really want to lose my virginity. So I did, 17. I lost the virginity to a person that was from China, that was a teacher in China. She was 10 years older than me. So I was 17, she was 27. So yeah, uh, a lot of love. A lot of love. From there, I was never shy from girls ever again. Again went with the flow and stuff. So yeah, I used to foster cats, a shitload of them, because I usually find a lot of kittens out on the streets in boxes. Take them to my place, my one room that I rented, or my apartment, or my house that I rented out, and I usually make sure they're healthy, get their shots, fix them with SPCA, and give them to people that are in need, no charge at all. The most I ever had fostering a cat was 14 in a 3-bedroom house at the base, and that was it. I told my wife, 2 cats max. I'm not gonna foster anymore or less. It's a poor little kitten, and even though I'll just take it to SPCA because, oh my god, it was horrible. Everything spills like shit and urine, especially when you have 14 cats. It's like you had to isolate some of the cats. One that was schizophrenic and only had to be by itself, and he loves pissing on freaking mattresses. So I had to put him in a bedroom upstairs by itself, and we just go there and make sure it's fine, give him love, food, water, so on and so on. So yeah, it was brutal. So yeah, I was in Japan for more than 2 years. One of the best time of my life. I wish I could go to Japan and live there. If my channel gets really big, that's actually our goal. Me and Ashley wants to go back to Japan and live there, probably for the rest of our life. That's how much we actually enjoy Japan. It's a lot cleaner, a lot healthier. We have a lot of stuff that we love. There's a different story. We'll do a story about Japan, me and Ashley, what we missed about, loved it. Love the thrift stores. Very friendly people. And yeah, this is one of the best places I've ever been. I've been to Korea once when I was little, but I barely remember it. We are going to be moving mid of next year due to high rent here in California. Cannot afford it. I am not much of a family man. Due to, I don't know why, but I prefer being isolated and alone most of the time. That's probably due to my depression, anxiety nowadays. But back then, I don't like staying at home, but I like stay at my friend's house the most of the time. And that's what I pretty much did throughout my youth. I usually, when I got out and got my own apartment, got a job, an apartment to stay, rent to stay in, to school. I basically want to stay in. I just stay inside my little room, and that was it. Didn't get my license till I was 21. I know it's late. Well, in California, everything is public transportation. Especially you live in the Bay Area, There's no really no point to have a car with the traffic jam and everything else. So I didn't get it till 21 when I was in the back road country in Delaware, and my wife was an hour and a half away. So I had to go. That's how I had to pay a friend to go back and forth. Screw it, save my money. Got my Dodge Neon 2003, and got my license. And you know what? I just drove there every freaking weekend, and you know what? I enjoyed it, loved it, and I miss I'm gonna miss it not as much anymore, especially when it sucks when you have to drive on snow, because usually it gets starts snowing in between October or sometimes these like end of November. Oh my god, the bridges, freaking black ice every single time. But yeah, I love fishing. That's probably the only sports that I like is fishing. I used to read a lot of books. I actually wrote about 12 books. That's not been published yet. I actually wrote 12 books. It's about Stumpy the Dwarf. And I might release it out on the internet, like chapter by chapter. I have 12 books on it. It's a very short book. I used to do a lot of creative writing due to I play Dungeons and Dragons, and I like to incorporate it into my game. I have several game modules that I've created since high school. I actually used and was success thinking about rewriting it and repolishing it and try to get it published by Wizard of the Coast. But a lot of times it's very hard to do so because there's so many people writing modules for a campaign as well. I am a computer science major. I did robotics since I was in freshman year, and we beat in 2007 on my senior year. We defeated we did the first robotics in UC Davis, and we defeated the Japanese guy from the Mythbuster. Flipped his robot and his team. It was funny. And we bought him the Wookiee rewards for it. Also, let's see here. We also did Bot Ball. Always went in second place in the San Jose State. That was a funny ass shit. But if you like robotics and electronics, let me know. I can do stuff where I buy little toys and talk about it. Show you a little programming. I'm not a big program. I'm more of a servo guy. I'm like expert in servos because that's what I've been working on. I know basic programming. I know C, C++, little bit of C#, Visual I know, HTML I know, JavaScript. I can make a poker game with Java, but not that great with JavaScript. A little dabbled in Rails. But yeah, my funny, and I have a lot of my high school teacher as my actual friend. I do drink with them, and that's the most scariest thing in my life, but the most funnest time in my life. The most person I respect is Mr. Steiner. He's my computer science teacher, also the advisor for my D&D club, and we still play D&D together. And bless his soul, most greatest man I ever met. Yeah, play Magic the Gathering since 1993. I have about 3 totes full of Magic cards. I collect Pokemon cards from the first gen. I still do now. Still do Magic as well. I love collecting toys, especially the older genres of toys and the 90s toys, the Power Ranger, the old school Transformer toys. Do not give two shit about GI Joes. I like I like things in boxes, never opened, because I used to sell a lot of these toys, and a lot of these toys are worth a lot of money still. I have a shitload of anime figurine that is basically covered half of my storage unit, 10 by 10, and my walk-in closet on the top shelf. So I have a lot of anime from Japan. I used to sell them a lot on eBay, and I'm not selling them anymore because I don't have any more duplicates to sell anymore. A lot of them actually wants to keep. We have a Gundam Unicorn, the giant ass one, that's worth we bought it for about $80 in Japan, worth about $300 right now. So hopefully they have another box that's coming out soon, So worth more of the price, then I might not try to persuade Ashley to sell the damn thing. I'm not really much of a Gundam fan. Ashley is. I love anime. Depending on what it is. I like comedy romance. And comedy romance to have girls with big boobs that have harem in it, I mean. And I'm mostly into adventures. Naruto was good. I love reading the manga more than watching the anime. Because the one problem is that freaking ass fillers. Oh my god, I hate fillers. Like, Naruto has a whole bunch of fillers. I don't understand why. And no. Like, Bleach had a whole bunch too. Bleach was really good until they go to the Quincy King. They should have just cut it after they beat Aizen. That should be a done deal. No more. One Piece is stupid. Attack on Titan is stupid. I'm sorry. Those are two things I will never watch. I watched a couple of them, read the mangas, did not enjoy it. There's a lot of flaws to them. I don't like those two. They're recent and still going on right now. I'm like, it should be going into the trash can with gasoline and fire. I piss on it too. While it's burning. I paint D&D miniatures. I do play D&D. This was actually my hobby. The most expensive hobby that you ever think. This is actually a lead figure. They stopped making this in the early 90s. Basically now they're pewter. And basically it's very poisonous. That's why you see everything is painted layer after layer. So when someone touches it, I don't have to worry about them consuming it when I put fingers in their mouth and have lead poisoning on it. But yeah, the most expensive hobby, because after you paint one, you want to buy more, and after having, if you're a DM, you want to have a collection. So I have a freaking table full of it. I bought $200 worth of paints from eBay, so I have like about 150 different types of paints right now. But yeah, after a while you consume a variety amount, then you gotta buy cases for them. Sometimes when I have toolboxes and I buy professional cases, because I get sick of doing touch-ups on them year after year. Because it's got scratches and tosses around the toolbox. And sometimes the glue breaks and you gotta try and find the freaking parts for it. So yeah, that's one of the expensive hobbies I do. Instead of collecting magic cards, Pokemon, I buy like 4 of them, for like one for each video to open on Fridays. But yeah, it's more expensive than collecting video games. I buy about like $100 worth of games a month. A little bit more if it's the one I really want. Nintendo Switch actually went all out this holiday because like games after games and games and games. Okay, great. I do support other people's channel. I usually put their channels on a link below. I send stuff. I do giveaways. The next giveaway is going to be 300 subscription. I'm pretty much going to get. I am going to do a Nintendo Switch giveaway. I reach 1,000. But yeah, there's a little thing about me that I'm going to talk about. If any more you want to ask me, let me know. Ashley's going to do another video. Ashley's going to do one, probably, hopefully before she leaves tomorrow night. Yes, she's leaving to Maryland. I'll be free for a week and a half, so you might see me stream 24/7 on underwear and tank top and playing Dicegia 5 or finish being a damn Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I am going to get the Monster Hunter 4 next month. Well, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll talk to you all later.